Good evening, everybody. I'm live. I'm live. I am live on the West Ham Network. We've been on earlier on already today, talking to you about the massive signing of Mo Kudus, which is absolutely unbelievable. Great signing. And I think we all should be absolutely over the moon at bringing in this modern, exciting, young, youthful talent that we've managed to bring in over the past couple of weeks, and now he's officially a West Ham player, which is great. And I'm bringing you a kind of breaking story because if you follow some reputable reporters online, in particular Fabrizio Romano, he's announced that a player that we've been linked to over the pretty much a lot of the summer, Harry Maguire, is now very open to a move, and in particular, West Ham are still keen. Apparently, the reports are suggesting that we are potentially still keen on trying to bring Harry Maguire to the club. So let's rewind slightly. West Ham wanted to make a deal permanent to bring Harry Maguire to West Ham, and we were trying to get a permanent deal over the line, and that did not obviously turn out to anything. I think that all broke down due to the fact that there was a problem with the payment structure of how Harry Maguire was going to leave Manchester United, because if he was coming to West Ham, suddenly we would have, his wages would drop quite dramatically. Now, West Ham potentially explored an option for a loan, but it was led to believe that Manchester United were not interested in a loan. And also, I think Harry Maguire potentially wasn't interested in a loan. But the key element here was because we were going to have to pay a lot less money in terms of his weekly salary. I think he's earning upwards of 200 grand, and West Ham are earning around about 100 grand. Now, let me explain something to you. I also believed, as I can see in the comments, that this wouldn't be a deal because we brought in Dinos, we brought on Mavropanos into the club, and why would we look at another centre-half? David Moyes has always stated throughout his whole time and his whole tenure at West Ham that he wants to ensure that he has 4 solid centre-back options. And I don't know, as much as Augie put in the performance he did against Brighton, I don't think he sees potentially that one. Now, Fabrizio Romano has just been on a live stream on another website. I've just watched it. And during that live stream, he mentioned the fact that now Harry Maguire is very open to a loan move. So if any of you have been watching Manchester United more recently and watching what's been going on under Ten Hag, they don't look comfortable at the back. And to be honest with you, so their centre halves, if it was Harry Maguire, he'd have been torn a whole new one if that was Harry Maguire playing back there. So Varane, all that sort of stuff, all their players have been struggling as such back in the defence. And because it's not Harry Maguire, I mean, he's got the perfect opportunity now to step back in and push to get into that team at Manchester United, but he is not, and it looks like that's not going to happen. So it looks like he is open to a loan move, and West Ham are potentially intrigued about this option and this deal. So it's an interesting one. It really, really is an interesting one. But I think what this could depend on is what happens with players who are currently in the squad who could be heading out if we're going to be looking at bringing Harry Maguire in. Listen, I'm not going to lie to you. It's a bit of a breaking news story. I've tried my best to do a little bit of due diligence on it. To bring Harry Maguire to the club on loan, with all the other signings that we're looking to do, we need to see some exits go out the door. We need to have a 25-man squad available for the season coming ahead. Obviously, you've got a mixture of the young quota that you've got there, but our squad is filling up now, and it's looking lovely and nice and all bright and all exciting. I'm looking at it right now, and there are really talented players there. And then you look at our defense, and it is the same as well. But we are, I'm trying to work out how he fits in, and where he fits in. And it's interesting because yet we still haven't announced our official captain. It's unofficially being Kurt Zuma, but the potential to bring Harry Maguire into the club is a bit of a spanner in the works, you could say. And if the deal, this is exactly where I'm at when it comes to Harry Maguire. I've always said when it comes to Harry Maguire, it's got to benefit West Ham with an abundance, right? It's got to benefit us more than it benefits. There's got to be an element of Harry Maguire wants to play because he will want to play. He's got the Euros coming up. That's no ifs or buts about it. Harry Maguire will want to play consistent football. He's not going to get that at Manchester United, so he's going to have to look at the option. And equally though, he could be looking at West Ham and going, well, look at that talent that they're bringing in. Look at where they've done so far this season. And I wonder where they're going to go and what the trajectory is looking like. But essentially the player needs to play. So he may be looking at his options and what the best ones are that fit, what he's looking for. So the reports and Fabrizio is particularly saying that Harry Maguire is available for a loan move to any club within reason, but West Ham are still interested. If we bring in Harry Maguire, that means West Ham would have Naif Aguerd, Kurt Zouma, Harry Maguire, Dinos Mavropanos, and Ogona. And that is, we are like fucking fulfilling our squad dramatically. Like we're adding pure and utter quality talent there. So essentially, I don't see this position as a priority. Of course, I don't. I see other positions as a priority, but it's just an interesting one. It's just a really interesting one. The final week of the transfer window, reputable reporters are suggesting that this could be a deal that could be one to watch over the previous week. Like I said, West Ham have previously put a bid in. It was rebuffed by Manchester United. They wanted more money. We couldn't come to a deal. It looked like there was something in place. And yeah, it's definitely interesting to see what happens if he does come in. A loan deal for Harry Maguire, what do you think? It's only a really short and sweet one, but I'm going to jump into the comments and see what everyone's saying about this potential for Harry Maguire coming to the club. I don't know what to think of it. I really don't know what to think of it. Richard Davis says, why? The only thing I can really go on is the fact that David Moyes doesn't think he's got his captain. It's essentially, I think we thought that he was going to bring Harry Maguire in, and instantly as part of that deal was going to offer him the captaincy. Listen, Harry Maguire makes our squad a little bit better. You may not agree with it, but I think it does. I think Jesse Lingard helps our squad and makes our squad a little bit better. I think Kudus makes our squad really much better. But the point I'm trying to say is, if you bring all these players and put them all in, there's, you've got a bigger quality squad, and means you can challenge at both competitions. Sorry, not just both competitions. We're in 4 competitions. Like, you've got a strong 22. Fielding the ability to field 2 teams as well. I suspected this. I suspected a low hammers, no slabhead, please. Tony Wilkins says we don't need him. Why are we after this plod after the excitement of signing Kudus? This news is underwhelming. Well, I don't think it is personally. I think everyone's obviously eats their own, but I don't necessarily think it is. It won't happen because we bought Mavropanos. Well, that's what I think, but I don't think it's as simple as that. I think if a player becomes available who a manager wants, and that's obviously going to be up there for it as well. But he himself is pushing for a move out of the club and is preferring a loan because that is what is going to try and get him the opportunity to play for England, and that could be an interesting one for the future. Montana Prime. Maguire, I do not believe this, will not accept a wage cut. That is a guarantee. But if he's on loan, he can be subsidised, and that could be a short-term solution for Manchester United. What could scupper this whole thing? And I'm only bringing this to you because this is what's coming out of the mainstream media in terms of Fabrizio Romano in particular. Loads of other reporters are reporting it, but when Fabrizio's kind of confirmed this whole story as well, as that there's only 4 or 5 days to go now to the transfer window closes, so Manchester United would need to bring in a replacement. They've always stated they need to bring in a replacement, so they have made inquiries already for Cucurella from Brighton, from Chelsea. So that is an option to bring in as not necessarily centre back cover because he doesn't play at centre back, but another defender into the club. West Ham are probably going to be looking at players heading out the door this week. There's a whole host of players you could be looking at. Well, when I say whole host, I wouldn't actually necessarily say whole host, but you can look at the likes of Ben Johnson, Aaron Creswell, players that are linked out of the club. In terms of our defence, in terms of our midfield, Max Cornet's just not featuring at all. Connor Coventry could be another player heading out the door, but he does help and fulfill our young quota. Danny Ings is another player that's linked out the club. Russ seems to think that Saeed Benrahma could be out the door. Pablo Fornals is linked to heading out the door as well. We're linked with a whole host of other players. Join me tomorrow morning where I'll be talking about one of those players that we are. But it will be an interesting one. Mandy says, now we are top of the league and have Kudus. Maguire has probably changed his mind. Not for me. Why would Manure subsidize a rival? That's just what happens when sometimes these loan deals. No. For Michael, please understand though. I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm saying Maguire deal back on. Maguire to West Ham transfers. It's coming from sources within the industry who are stating that this could be an option. It could be an option. So we have to say, I agree, Slabhead not getting game time and seeing West Ham off to a good start of the season from Stephen Brown. I don't believe in the loan. Tim has proved he gets his targets. I would push for him. Tougher, Brendan C. Is this a Moyes thing? Thanks, Tim, for getting Kudus in. Kudus, not a Moyes pick, so he is forcing this through. I mean, listen, no complaints from me from JWP. Look what he's already done so far. We've had a lovely weekend as West Ham fans. Why ruin it with this? I'm only bringing to you all the information. Is Coventry still a squad member? He is. He fulfills the UK quota that you need to have in your squad in the Premier League. So is this a late show? Listen, I had no intentions of coming on until I seen this. I was watching Fabrizio talk and bang, I thought, I've got to bring it to you. Got to. Why not? It's what happens, isn't it, when stories like this come? Perhaps Man United want to undermine a rival and not subsidizes. I was totally against him joining initially, but the fact he snubbed us is a greedy bastard, and we've signed Dinos. I wouldn't want him anywhere near the club now. It's funny. I don't really know the full ins and outs were interesting. You know, he spoke out and it was quite clearly stating that I don't think there was any real official club offer coming in. So it's an interesting one. It is an interesting one. Greeno says ITK and come posted that we're still interested in Maguire on loan a few days ago. I seen that. Slabhead wants Euro football to game time for his England place future. Jesse or Harry, what a choice. I think there's definitely going to be one. Minimum of those two names you've just mentioned there. I think minimum guaranteed you're going to get Lingard coming in a short-term deal. If you're referring to Maguire, he never slipped us, but was also keen. Fake info put out there by some people on Twitter. I agree, Greeno. Montana, you're right, Nick. If I am Tim, delay and act like I'm pushing the window shuts. We do not need the fridge. He wants to ride a free wave. Hell no. Let him hit the bench. Tilo will be sold if Maguire comes in. It's an interesting point, actually, because there's our German clubs sniffing around. Tilo, and yeah, that could be an option. Don't want it. Zuma is a perfect captain. They still haven't officially announced him, though, or anyone as the official long-term captain. They've just done an interview with him, said he's proud to be wearing the armband, but yeah, he's not been named as that. David says no. Doreen says no. Mark says we are building a very good team. Maguire would add quality to this, in my opinion. I do agree with you. I think there's so many sides to this argument. Definitely don't want Maguire. Said he wouldn't come and so he could get lost, especially on his wages. No thanks. Jason Q, I don't mind as long as it doesn't stop us getting a striker. Greeno, Zuma attracting interest from the Saudis. Oge is no longer young. Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't think Zuma's going, but I think in due course we do need to look at bringing in some replacement for Zuma. With respect, I think he's a bloody brilliant player, but I can't help but think that his injuries are definitely a concern because he does pick them up. He really, really does pick them up quite easily. So I think he's 29, 30 years old. So yeah, it's I think we're going to have to be looking at the future. Is this serious? Not Maguire. I'm only bringing to you what's been put out there. Tilo will be sold if Maguire comes in. Absolutely. I don't follow Twitter. Everything I've read stated that he didn't want to come to West Ham. Was demanding a higher payment from Man United. If he wanted to join, he would have done. Eclipse says, me personally, I don't care if we get him or not. I just don't want this transfer to take time away from getting another striker or just positions we need. Garino Corney has been touted around. His injury last year was very bad for someone who relies on pace. So many not make it in the Premier League. Absolutely. Am I happy to stand corrected? I think a lot of people would be as well. All the stories about him not wanting to come from a certain Twitter social media accounts pushing a narrative, clicks. Flip, honestly, what kind of footballer wouldn't want to move to a club and transition upward, consistently playing to be a leader to success, but instead sit in his arse? Maguire brings unhealthy attitude. Well, I don't think it is as bad as that. I certainly don't think David Moyes would bring a player in if there was an unhealthy attitude. If I'm being honest, I really don't think he would. But that's, again, this is just reports are suggesting that. So many people said no to JWP, and yet he's been immense. Armchair managers, gotta love them. Why? Always been a fan of JWP. Everybody jumped on these stories, which people close to West Ham say are not true. Issue was payout from Man United. That's what I believed it to be. Please let him stay at United. Zuma. Grant says he's not needed at West Ham United. KP, Maguire would take a major amount of gloss off the transfer. Don't want that. Near us anywhere. Jason Q, goalkeeper. Garino, also Moyes and Stein always got along. There was so much crap put out that simply was not true. Moyes was involved in the Stein appointment. Great fan from Ghana. Good to see you, Emmanuel. Hope you're happy with Kudus coming in. GP says, I'm going to bed. No, and Russ needs to play Crazy Frog next home match. I'll be at the next home match as well, so keep your eye out for that one. Surely Tim can find us someone else from Jilly. Aren't West Ham too massive for Harry? Not for his head, mate. Not for his head. To be honest, I think that Maguire has an attitude problem that's strictly related to Man United. Maguire is a perfect defender in a Moyes ball system. Think Craig Dawson. Yeah, could be right. Could be right. Definitely keep Kira. Really like Zuma, but look at the way he walks alone, runs alone. My old man is bedridden and he moves better than Zuma. God. Rod Fontaine, Maguire, no way. Keep that beast away. Jason says West Ham had best transfers than all the other teams. I tell you what, if you bring in Harry Maguire and you bring in another couple of players we're linked to, on top of that, short-term deal for Lingard, add that to what we've currently got. My word, yeah, definitely, absolutely, different options, different vibes, different teams, different setups, different systems. Exciting prospect for the future. This is a short one. This is a short and sweet one. Just bringing you what we hear, what's coming out of the reports. If it's true, we'll find out by the end of the week because the transfer window does slam shut on Friday. So keep your eyes peeled on the channel. We'll bring to you as much news as we possibly can. And I may see you a little bit sooner than what you first think. Go get a good sleep. And I'll see you in a few hours. Take it easy, everyone. Come on, you Irons.